fucking hospitality.
Somebody else could fight that fucking Sith. Why does it have to be me?
Sorry, I had to fucking ruin it.
Just for him.
Star Trek Picard returns Star Trek to where it should be, about human beings and their alien friends striving to be the best they can be, and in the face of great adversity, and stepping up. And it's not about if it's what you feel, it's okay. No. What you feel is going to get you killed. You know what's not going to get you killed? Really knowing how to do your job, and working with other people that are really smart and know how to do their jobs. We have to put our emotions aside and get the job done. And that's what Star Trek to me was about. It was about being the best person, human being you can be, and finding the best people around you, the best of the best, to go out. And that's what you need to be on the final frontier. Otherwise, you will get killed. You will never survive. And Star Trek Picard is all about these people that are the best of the best coming back together and doing what they do best. And it was refreshing.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another discussion of the latest episode of Picard. If you weren't here, me and Prophet of the Dragon had our live reaction and we had our live reaction and view, and let's just say that was the longest one that we've ever had, because I think that this particular episode nearly killed Prophet. So Prophet's not here at the moment. I'm curious if he's just sitting this one out. I said he could if he wanted to. So, but I'm not alone. Well, once again, joining us, we got the one and only person that everybody should meet at least once, a white cloak named Alex. What's up, Alex?
Not much. So I plan on being a very worthwhile substitute for Steve. I think he and I feel very similar about this episode, so do not worry. I'm going to bring all the Steve energy that we would otherwise be missing.
Yeah, there were things I liked about this episode, and there were some real problems with this, and there were things that I felt disappointed about, especially in this overall series. So that I've already brought up, and I'll just bring it up again. So. But Alex, thanks for being here. But we have another guest, and this is he is our model of positivity. He is calling us. He is here live straight from Japan, the one and only Mr. Wakizashi Gray. What's going on, Gray? How are you?
Ohio, good morning from Japan. I hope you're all good and genki out there. I'm feeling very positive because I'm having a cup noodle. It's actually a co-op noodle. How about that?
Nice. So Gray, you watched the episode. What are your initial thoughts?
Well, if you check my name, underneath my name, I give my spoiler thoughts of this episode, because Noporial, I surrender. My positivity has gone. It's gone.
No,
Yeah.
It's not true. It's impossible.
Yeah, I can't wait to give my thoughts on this, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts as well.
Oh my gosh. I was kind of hoping that there'd be some balance in the Force, because apparently Jack Crusher is using the Force now. to take over people just throughout any part of the ship. Because I
Jack
guess
Crusher should get back to Downton Abbey. That's what I say. Get out of here, Jack. What are you doing? Or get back on Stranger Things, for goodness sake.
Oh, Stranger Things! Did you guys pick up the music? We were bump 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 bump.
26 minutes in. Oh, it's Stranger Things music's playing. What's going on? How original!
Oh my gosh! we brought that up. We brought that up. So, all right. So, so this episode, there were moments that I felt some real genuine emotions. Did you guys feel anything when, like, kind of skipping to the end when they all reunited?
No. There was a wee bit of feelings when Geordi and Data talked, but that was it. And I'll be honest, the Skinwalker folks, just watching these people all be old and decrepit and sad and dumb, it didn't make me feel good. It almost felt like we were mocking them.
Yeah. Like, I think that the one that really hit me was the whole Geordi tells Data, I'm glad my friend is back. Yep. And I think Data's like, well, the forever constant I have is that is my gratitude for your friendship and everything.
Yep.
So that just, I mean, I watched this episode 3 times. I watched it yesterday. That hit me. You'd see it live. And I watched it again this morning. I just watched it now taking notes, and it's the same thing. Just, I don't know, maybe it's because I've lost someone, and I kind of, same with Wrath of Khan. I get emotional as someone who's, lost someone. It hits you more. So I think something like this, like I'll be honest, I literally left Nemesis a long time ago. It was right before I turned 18, senior in high school. I left the theater depressed because of what they did to Data. I was just like, this is how they end his arc, by having him say, I mean, it's the greatest thing you can do is to, lay your life down for your friends, straight from the Bible, straight from the New Testament, I believe. But I just felt I just didn't like it. It just felt empty. I felt empty after seeing that. And then it was supposed to be the end of TNG. So the fact that they were making another Picard, actually, when I first heard about, when they announced Picard, I actually was excited, and I saw the trailer, and I was still excited because I was like, oh, maybe they're going to bring back Data. Maybe they're going to undo what they did in Nemesis.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a very reasonable and optimistic hope for it. It just that hope and that optimism was too precious for this world.
Yeah, apparently, because what we
Talking
got
about me.
No. I was just talking about, like, reason why I felt the way I did at the end was just how Star Trek Nemesis ended.
I know,
how did you feel when Star Trek Nemesis ended?
How does it feel, Napoleon seeing Data, Brent Spiner? He can't be helped, an old and portly man now.
Yeah.
I can't take it. I can't take him seriously.
Yep, it's tough.
He's a hybrid. He's a human.
Yeah.
Synthetic. I don't even like the word. I don't even like them using the word synths in New Trek. Human android hybrid. And yeah. I think Brent Spiner is 74 years old, and maybe 75. I don't know, but he's just he's old.
He looks okay. Brent Spiner, for his age, as you say, he looks fine, but it's not Data. It's like, as you say, if he's a hybrid, what is he? A Toyota Prius?
I call him old Brent Spiner.
Old Brent, yeah.
Hybrid thing.
Yep.
Because that kind of what he is. I mean, and he's just he has humor, and not like batshit crazy humor, cringe humor like he did in Generations, where he's just making jokes and then he loses control and then he gets scared and becomes useless. and then says, "Oh shit!" And then they blow up the Duras sisters. Like, yes, I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
Like, I miss Data's old humor. His off humor. His weird humor. He swore in this, didn't he? He said like,
shit,
I'm pissed off, baby. Jesus.
But just the Data stuff just really got to me. So, but we'll get into how we got there. So, what did you guys think of the beginning of the episode where they're basically taking away the eyes, the ears, and the path for the crews? To cut them off from everything. They
made it even darker, Noporial, didn't they?
Yeah,
they made it even darker than it has been. It's like, I can't see anything now.
They turn off all the lights. They turn off the comms, and they're. I assume that they killed all those people in the corridor. Like they show the door. The door closes, and then you hear. Pew, 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 pew. I'm assuming they're all dead.
Yep.
And then there was a point where there was more people in another corridor, and they were lined up against the wall. I don't know if they were hiding or if they were just being held there. I thought they were being held there, but then a bird shapeshifter thing, or I don't buy that they're shapeshifters. They're freaking Raffi was stabbing them.
I was going to say,
Worf stabbed one. They bled red instead of gold or whatever.
Yep.
So. But were those people killed too? You know what I'm talking about? Where they were just kind of, you saw people lined up. They were just...
No idea. Proud. It suggested they were, didn't it? Yeah. That's what we were led to believe. How many were killed? No idea.
No idea.
But the main
Anyone
characters.
Care?
No.
Nobody, I guess nobody important. My gosh.
Again. It's just... What is the
Come on, Alex. Alex,
we
need some positivity from you. Come on, mate. You can save us. Save us.
Positivity from me. Dude, I got fuck all when it comes to positivity for this episode. We already talked about the very brief conversation where Geordi and Data had their conversation. But other than that, this episode sucked. I mean, just sucked. The hostage situation was dumb. The opening was dumb. Everything with Jack Crusher was dumb. The ending was dumb. Everything in this episode was just dumb, and it frustrates the hell out of me.
I guess we can elaborate as we. I have the notes right up here. Let's just elaborate as you go along. So Alex's take is this episode is dumb. So Steve agrees, and Gray, is that your diagnosis as well? Prognosis? Or?
My first note was Amanda Plummer's acting is annoyingly hammy now. It's really annoying me. I think I kind of enjoyed it at the beginning, just the first episode, because it wasn't too much, but she was over the top and she was speaking everything so slowly. Yeah. I was looking for a speed up button, like you get on Netflix. Can you put the speed faster, playback faster? Yeah. I couldn't do it because it's bloody Amazon Prime. God.
So, all right, but by the way, Salty, thank you for the 99-cent super sticker. I don't have YouTube up, so I don't know what it is. So
Salty! Get in here, mate. Bring in some positivity because we need it, for God's sake.
Oh my God. We talked. Me, him, and Steve talked for like an hour and a half yesterday after the episode. So like...
Oh, was he on it? Oh, mate, I missed it.
No, he was. He joined us after. He joined us after the show. So,
nice one.
Offline and everything. So, yeah. So, the hostage situation. So they're all lined up. So everybody on the bridge is lined up, and I think Vatic is like, Jack, come up to the bridge, Jack. It was pretty cringe. I honestly don't find her threatening or menacing.
It was painful. No, it was funny.
5'0", 95 pounds. Of course she's not threatening.
And then here's the other thing. Like, okay, so she has I used the picture. She has the crazy eye. She was, as people were getting executed, she was conducting the screams like it was a symphony. Like she was Hannibal Lecter. you know, she just didn't have any blood on her face. So, but I was just like, okay, so she's bad. So she's bad for the sake of being. She wants to be bad, but then last episode, didn't we learn that she was a victim of the evil Starfleet Daystrom personnel?
Yep.
So which is it? I mean, do you think can it be both? Can it be both? Can she be just that? Can she be just that crazy and be sympathetic as well? I couldn't find anything to be sympathetic about. Khan was a villain, but I was actually able to sympathize with him, especially during that great scene where he's telling Kirk he's going to leave him on the Regula, and it's just you even though he killed a bunch of people, you still felt for him, and then you still kind of there's still I don't know, like that's why people love that movie, the performance of Ricardo Montalban. Here, I was expecting more from Vadic. I was expecting more from the Shrike. Oh boy, the Shrike. The Shrike was disappointing. Like I was so excited at the end of episode 1 to see the Shrike. Remember, Gray? Remember you showed that an image of the ship, the way you had the little Elios ship right here, Beverly's medical ship, and then you had the Shrike. It looked like a scorpion, and it was about to engulf. It was about to eat them, like a predator. And I honestly, and I said this yesterday, I thought the scimitar in Nemesis was more menacing than this ship. Like the scimitar took way more hits, but it also, they copied Star Trek 6 by having it be able to fire when cloaked. But the fight with the scimitar was way more awesome than anything we saw here. And I mean, I wish I could agree with people, but this is not better than Nemesis. This series is not better than Nemesis.
The Shrike went out like a pussy, Naporial. The Shrike went out like a pussy. It was like, oh, what? They don't have shields suddenly.
And apparently nobody was on the ship either, or maybe they were, but I guess that wasn't important.
Yeah, apparently Vadic's fifth in command was fucking high in the porta-john and didn't think to have the shields up.
I swear she should have had another. They should have included. They should have had other actors to play other shapeshifters. I don't know why they just had all the same people.
Yeah.
They just had all the same people wearing the same exact costume, except of course her second in command was basically 7 feet tall, and every time they shot him, he got back up like he was Michael Myers, and that's how he fucks up Shaw at the end of last episode. That's why you see them all, bruised.
They all look the same. There was no personality. You couldn't define what they were, who they were. Nothing stood out about them apart from the tall one. It's like, oh, there's the tall one. That's about it.
Literally a bad video game. Yeah. How do you know that this enemy is stronger than the others? Well, it's slightly bigger. Like if the other ones were characters, they would all have red health bars, and the one that fought Shaw would have a yellow health bar. That was literally how they decided to differentiate between these characters.
Yeah. So, and then I'm assuming that the bigger one got blasted into space with Vadic. So they kind of copied. I got a problem with that one too. I was just watching it. Why didn't did the Droideka shields? Because that's what I called it. He had a thermal detonator, but it was not a thermal detonator. It looked like a thermal detonator.
He's holding a thermal detonator.
Oh no! But it was actually a Droideka shield. The spherical shield that they had in the prequels. Where are those Droidekas? Can those shields somehow counteract the suction? Because they open, they depressurized the room, and they sucked Vadic and her commander out, but yet Seven and Jack did not get sucked out either, even though they were just being held by a shield. Like I didn't even think about that yesterday. And you
by the
just
way,
barely
Naporial,
see it.
the big one, the big alien, bird alien. I know what happened to him. Troy, put him into her quarters for later. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
So
I
we
could
didn't see
definitely
him die. He's been saved for later.
Well, him and Vatic went into two different. They kind of forked off because we saw their path as they were flying in outer space.
I thought there were two, then it just focused on the one, of course, and it's like, wait a minute, is there only one? It's just Vatic has come out.
Who cares about the other ones? It's just nameless commander, bird, alien-looking costume stunt guy. Because I swear when they were fighting, like hand to hand fighting. With those shapeshifters. I'm like, why are they
throw my keyboard out the window for God's sake?
Why are they fighting hand to hand with shapeshifters? Why? Like that would never. Like the previous episode, they tried to do that and it didn't work, and Jack got his ass kicked by that one, transporter dude. But then after that, no.
This may be the most blatant episode I've ever seen, where the writing team visibly flipped a switch and went from the bad guys winning to the bad guys losing. There were games of Pac-Man where Pac-Man eats the big pill that have less dramatic shifts of who is attacking and winning versus who is not than this episode. The way that it just immediately shifted from good guys getting their asses kicked handily to good guys winning with very little in the way of like conditional changes outside of the conflict was insane. It was like fucking Scooby-Doo.
Oh, just like last week. It's just, it went just when Data, takes over the ship, then they're just like, hey, you monologuing protoplasm, you're dealing with a pissed off security system. And all of a sudden, like, I guess all of her men were off the bridge. Maybe someone in the chat, or did they all leave or something, the bridge? Because I swear there was actually, no. I'm trying to remember if they just left everybody. Where did the rest of her men go? Did they leave the bridge? Oh, I guess they did to look for Jack or something. I don't know. Right. I don't know.
I mean, it was literally like Data has taken over the ship, and Data taking over the ship now means that Rafi's swords become super effective against changelings.
So she's slashing them and dashing them, and then I think Worf shoots them. So so it's stab and then shoot, stab and then shoot. I'm like, why not just shoot? And then here's the thing, and this is something that Steve brought up yesterday. They have weapons. Just use your weapons. Why are you fighting them with swords? Why are you fighting Raffi with a sword? You should just kill her. I guess because the script.
That was it. I made that note. It was so annoying. It was like, why didn't they just shoot Raffi? No, they've got to show her taking down 5 or 6 of these huge, like, Jack Sparrow aliens. Mamma mia.
Why is Raffi in this goddamn show? Like, she is so out of place. Especially, when you see she's doing something, and then it cuts to the entire original crew, like, on the bridge, and it's just like, why are you here? Like, you don't belong in this show based on sort of what they're trying to do with literally every other aspect of it. Go away. Go fuck off with the rest of the Picard crew. There's no need for you to be here.
Yeah, I agree. So it's just, oh yeah, sorry. Thanks for the thank you for the super. Thank you for the where is it? Thank you for the super sticker, Salty. The second one, the poop sticker. Sorry about that. Oh my gosh. So, what did you think of the? What did you think of when you see Jack's point of view as he's possessing his meat puppets, and then he gets that security person killed,
and just completely shrugs it off and ignores it. Like, oh boy, you just took over someone's mind and body and got them killed. Can we at least pretend like what you did wasn't horrendous? Like, a gross violation of basically everything that the Federation stands for. Like, that was slavery and murder that you just pulled off, dude. And you just, nobody mentions it again. Absolutely bizarre. The morality of this show is broken.
Yeah, taking over somebody. Yeah, just take, like, it's kind of like, you're in them. Kind of like, I mean, it would basically equate to rape.
Yep.
And yeah, I agree. It's morally questionable what happened, and then the person gets killed in the process. So, goddamn. But it's just, yeah. So they're just like, he just somehow knows that she has like half the ship, and I feel like they could have just, I mean, they should have condensed the series to like a few episodes, because this just feels like they're padding it out. Like, you have Riker and Troy. Like, do you think that they needed to have their conversation again? Didn't they kind of resolve that in episode 4 when they were talking, when he talked to her on the screen, and he was having his little existential crisis in that episode?
Yep. Also, wow, talk about, undoing a lot of a character. So Deanna just, decided to ignore basically everything she learned in previous seasons, not of Picard, but of, other Star Trek shows, and just grabbed his feelings anyway and just took them away from him. I distinctly remember there being quite a few conversations about her not doing that in TNG, and I
didn't even know she could do that. Only thing I understood was that she could just feel. She could just feel, their emotions. I didn't know she could take away their pain.
Don't think, feel.
I guess I guess I thought she could like dampen it or soften it, but man, maybe I'm the one that's wilding out here, because it seemed very bizarre to me that she would do that. That's another one of those, what do you mean you just went into his mind and took away his emotions? That's not a good thing. Like, that's in fact a very bad thing.
Okay, I gotta ask. We gotta talk about this right here. What did you think of the execution? The execution, I said this yesterday. Have you guys seen The Walking Dead? Have you guys seen the Negan episode?
That's the note I've got here. Negan, Lucille, ripoff.
Yeah, and the whole idea of trying to fake out the viewer. You had the phaser pointed at Ensign Esmer's head. That she's the other shaven-headed alien person. I forgot. I don't know. She's probably a brand new race.
The two slapheads, for God's sake. What is going on with that? Anyway, sorry. Go for it.
And then you had the Bajoran, and apparently his name is Matthew, so I'm assuming he's half human. But the Bajoran dude with that actually he gets mind raped by frickin' Jack, because he's right by the console, and he's inputting. So apparently in the series, Picard has these override codecs. He has like an override codex that they can use to, in case of, enemy takes over a ship, I'm assuming they kind of got that idea from, Wrath of Khan, because, the Reliant, and then they inputted that code and everything to lower the shields. What'd you think of that? What'd you think of Picard having codes to a ship?
Why? Why does he have these codes? Why didn't he use them at all previously? What did the codes even accomplish? Like, there's of the who, what, when, where, and why of these codes existing, I'm confused on like 4.5 of them.
apparently they needed to. They just got cut off from. So apparently Vatic. So yeah, last episode it was Lore that was doing all the cutting off of cutting off systems like engineering, life support, communications, transporters, whatever, a lot. And then you have and then this episode, they're like, oh, they just simply they unplugged him. They just unplugged him. Like they probably should have did that last episode. But they unplugged him and Vatic now is in control. And they literally say, oh, Vatic is now in control.
Yeah.
Very like the second scene of the episode.
Does Picard have the codes to every single ship, in the Federation? Like that just didn't make any sense, did it? As you were saying,
admiral. He's a retired admiral, so I would assume no.
Can you imagine the operational security risk that is? That all of your admirals have codes that could shut down all of your ships? If one retired old geezer gets captured and tortured, your entire fleet is boned.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's like these writers haven't thought it through.
No.
But I do want to address this. So they kill Lieutenant Tavine. I'm assuming she was
the second time we heard a name, Noporial. The first time it was briefly mumbled by 7 of 9, and then you got attacked on Twitter because you were pointing it out. Do you remember? The second time we've heard a name. What a joke.
Yes, so the science officer and one thing Stop George is saying right here is, did you notice that nobody recognized that their science officer was executed in the boardroom at the end? No recognition to the Vulcan dying at all. Heck, even the Orville with unlikable, what's her name? What the hell was her name again? Charlie. They gave her a send off. So yeah, so I guess Lieutenant Tavine is. Hey, I gave her a send off. I put her in the. I said R.I.P. in the thumbnail. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Spoilers. Yeah, I did. I saw that.
You have no idea how much I wanted to respond to people like, okay, well, seeing as the crew didn't react to her death even at all, can I get an apology for you guys pretending like this character was interesting or mattered? Because if the people on the show don't give a shit, why should any of us? And the dude was such a prick that it was almost like it was like the show acknowledged that you and I were right and the guy was wrong.
Well, that's why the guy did what he did, Alex and Noporial. Not so much his response, the fact that he took all that time to screen capture all Noporial's tweets and then reply with a big. That was kind of scary, isn't it? It's like desperation. No, it's good, really. Look, I'll prove it. It's like, come on, mate, take the fucking loss.
It was I got livid when I saw that. I kind of regret some of the things that I said, but because
I do too. I should have called him. I should have called him way worse.
I know it's best not to even engage. That's the only problem. But he does make you a bit, doesn't it? He does piss you off.
You're absolutely right. And so, yeah, I did learn something from this. And yeah, never, once again, if you get into a dogpiling situation on social media in general, never engage, never suffer these, never suffer.
Just reply with a laughing mark or LOL, because I think that pisses them off even more. It's like, yeah, whatever.
I mean, all my things ended with grow up. And then someone tried to pull that on me because I made a joke about the new what is it called, Starfleet Academy, that's 32 years too late. And someone said, well, like as you like to say, grow up, because there was the same person that was part of the dog pile and everything. And I was just like, well, I responded the way Pierce Brosnan would respond, you first. And then I show live long and prosper John Belushi. Yeah, there you go. So
best way to do it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so just once again, just never engage, and it's
not worth it.
Worth it.
It's a waste of your time and your emotion.
Exactly.
Noporial, Alex, did you? I know you kind of answered it already, but did you feel anything when she got executed?
Well, I reacted. I was like, I felt it was a waste.
I
was just like, why? I mean, why waste this character? I mean, I didn't hate this character. I thought, was better than
Yeah, she
people
was
on the Discovery, and
It was so random. It didn't make any sense. He should have shot the Bajoran guy because he, even though it wasn't his choice, he put the code in. It just like it's like eeny meeny miny mo almost. Like what's the point in that? It was so bloody Negan Walking Dead, wasn't it?
Eeny meeny miny mo. Yeah, and they had the freaking nerve. I'm gonna vent about that episode. They had the nerve. I thought they were going to show the death in the season finale, and they freaking made it a secret. And then you had to wait for months. I was like seriously? Walking Dead. Yeah, Walking Dead started a bad precedent too. So that and Game of Thrones, and that's why we're getting these type of shows. We're getting these stretched out 10-episode shows that I think should be shorter. They should one thing I liked about earlier Trek. And I mean, I get some pushback from people when I say that the older Trek is better. They're like, oh, we can complain that there's issues with those too. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Nothing's perfect. I agree, but hey, those scripts were tight and they were engaging. I can watch those and not get bored. I mean, they're not perfect.
They were more science fiction than this for a start.
Yeah.
Especially some of the stuff, the choice of language, I had to turn on the subtitles. I was like, what is batshit circles? Like he's like, because you know how Vadic is talking to Jack and she's talking very slowly.
Oh God, slowly.
Yeah, so she's just like, I want your gifts. You are roaming from planet to planet, species to species, unable to overrun that constant shadow of isolation, of loneliness. And he's just like, why are you talking batshit circles? I was like, what the hell did he say? So it's just, it's crazy. It's just crazy, the language that I'm hearing. And then you hear,
she was talking crazy too. It didn't make any sense what she was on about. It's like, oh, come on, get on with it. This could have been a 2-hour movie, Nerdporial, couldn't it? The actual whole season 3 of Picard, it should have been an hour and a half, 90-minute movie. They've stretched everything out so much.
It's a 10-hour movie according to Mr. Burnett and the Popcast brothers. That's what they've said. They actually said Popcast actually says, brought that up on my tweet that we were talking about. But I'm glad. I mean, they like it. I'm glad they like it. I have no qualms about people liking this series. I'm just, I guess people are just ignoring the issues with this series. I'm like, this can be better.
Jacob, you're right in the chat. Even Vadic, as annoying as she was, they even made her go out with a fucking F-bomb. The final words, unbelievable. It just sums up this season.
But you know what was said before that? Seven's like, get off my bridge. You're not even the captain.
Yeah, what?
And here's let's talk about that. Let's talk about fucking excuse my language, Shaw.
Do we have to?
Yeah, we have.
He's been cucked completely out of the season.
I've seen episodes of original Star Trek. Now maybe maybe some people will argue that Shaw is not your typical your really good captain. Your captain that will take responsibility, that will feel that feels the responsibility for the lives of his, or is responsible for the lives of his crew. I guess the fact that he was just saying there's nothing we can do, and Seven was the one reacting, and he was pulling her back as his crew, as someone on his ship is pointing a gun to one of his officers.
Yep. I mean,
I had a big fucking problem with that.
Yeah. I mean, think back to everything positive that we said about this show at the beginning. One of the few things that we were universally pleased with was Shaw being a good guy, a good captain, and a competent commander. And it has become very clear that no, we gave them credit. We thought they were being reasonable by making Shaw a jerk to Picard and Riker. We thought they were trying to paint him as reasonable by having him be a jerk. Turns out they just wanted him to be a jerk. Like they didn't want him to be reasonable. They lucked into it. They fell face first into portraying a good character for 2.5 episodes before the mask slipped off. So they legitimately have ruined this character now.
What are you
gonna do?
and of course the Captain Asshat was crazy. So it's just I don't. I was so disappointed, and then seeing him seeing him come back and letting Seven, fire, ordered or give the order to destroy the Shrike. I just don't respect the character anymore, and I don't even know if he's going to even do anything.
He's still the most interesting character in it, even though they've cooked him and like completely pulled him out of it.
I mean, I really can't stand. I mean, Picard had some agency in the first episode, a little bit of it. He had a lot of agency in episode 5 with Ro. I thought that was some of Patrick Stewart's best acting in the series. I don't know if you guys would agree with me on that. Probably not, but I actually really dug episode 5, and then he just kind of reverted back to the doddering, elderly Picard who barely has enough energy to, speak a few sentences, let alone, give commands and walk, I guess. So so Picard just still doesn't feel like Picard. Riker is better, but Riker just he's kind of a joke. Like the stuff with Worf and everything. They're trying to be funny. Like they had the Tribble, the face hugging Tribble thing, as a little jump scare with the teeth and all that, just so that Riker can make a quip about Klingons.
Trying to be funny in this episode in Pro. The trying to be funny was so obvious. It kind of worked a little bit in the past, but this one it was so overwritten. He was, come on, guys.
That Riker Troy Worf scene.
God, yeah, that's it, Alex.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, wasn't it? Right?
It's like it was like the Riker and Troy stuff was. I mean, do you think that they needed to conclude that here? Do you think because they set up in the first episode that that Troy and Riker were having marital issues, like he didn't want to be there, and then it seemed like they were okay in the first scene of this episode, and then the second scene they were pissed off at each other.
That's the one positive I've got. The first scene they were together. I've got Troy and Riker are good together here, even though what they were saying was a bit, it was modern day writing, but still they were good together. That scene with Worf and Troy and him, I was like, what? Oh man, it was like you said, it was uncomfortable. It was like, what's going on?
But yeah, it's just the first scene is he's talking about episode 4 and just the fact that he encountered bleakness, and the fact that they were resigned to die in that episode, which was a problem I had because Star Trek characters I don't think they've ever been resigned to die when they were in a bad situation. They always worked to come up with solutions, or they thought of ideas, and they were always so busy. That they never had time to just sit around and talk about feelings.
Yeah, I get that now. I get that. I'm late to the game, Napoleon. You're right, exactly. They would do everything they could, wouldn't they? They'd be so busy trying to find a way to survive no matter what. And it's like, oh no, let's go down the bar and talk to each other because we're all dead. It's like,
that's
not Star Trek, is it?
There were disaster episodes. There was an episode literally called Disaster. It was a TNG episode where Picard was, stuck on a turbo lift with a bunch of kids. Worf was stuck giving birth to Keiko O'Brien's baby, and and Troy was in command for the first time. It was crazy. Oh, poor Miles,
poor O'Brien.
And remember, she was traveling around, and then she got hit. She got taken over by a power wraith just randomly. So I'm curious, based on what Vadic says about the shadow of isolation and the red door, and you see fire through that keyhole of that red door, and you see heat coming out. You're like, are those the fire caves? Are we gonna get some power wraiths from DS9? Are they the ones controlling these new shapeshifters who apparently? And this was something that Brett S in the chat said yesterday. Do you think that with these new shapeshifters that they are not allowed to merge with the Great Link, and that's why they're kind of on their own, and they have no Dominion support whatsoever?
Yes.
because that's just what it. I think Brettus was onto something there when he said that, because I mean it would make sense, and because the thing I was asking throughout the season is where's the Dominion, where's the Jem'Hadar, where is everything? We haven't seen anything in this season. Like for a season of television, like there's been literally no world building whatsoever. The only aliens we've seen are either these new aliens on the bridge. We barely see any new characters. Like they didn't show any characters when the ship, or not the ship, the recruitment center that was destroyed by the portal weapon. Tried to get a hold of them. Nope, nothing. And we don't know who the captain of the Intrepid was. We just know that Ro came on a shuttle with 2 random shapeshifters. We don't know anyone else on board this ship. We don't even know who left the Titan to go on to the Intrepid. In other words, being condemned, to be, I don't know. And then we don't even see, like, we're getting cameos from characters from other shows, but we're not really getting like a whole lot of. We don't see any Cardassians. We don't see any other aliens. There's nothing going on. It just seems like this is a very isolated. This whole season feels like one episode of a show, and it's not even.
It's a series of bottled episodes, isn't it? All like squashed together.
It's not even one, but it's like an extended,
stretched out.
It's like extremely stretched out bottled episode, or once again, the 10-hour movie, and the 10-hour movie is just.
Are you guys surprised, by the way? Because you know how I've been focusing on the podcast. I've not been saying it's great. I've been saying I've been enjoying it. And up to the last episode, which I didn't talk about, I was enjoying it. But last episode, I just found very dull. And then this one, I just think this is a stinker. It's really badly written, badly performed, so annoying. The girl boss moments, Raffi's hairstyle. I won't say what I wanted to do. Even Geordie LaForge. I want him to get his visor back on. I wanted to punch him in the face at one point. I don't know what's going on. What's happened to me? Have I seen the light?
Yeah.
Gray, you were better than us. You're better than us. We were expecting that. We were expecting that modicum of positive. We were expecting that hope. Maybe you were able to shed light on things that we didn't see. Because I'm a gatekeeper. Steve's a rage baiter, and Alex, what are you?
I'm a white cloak. So
Alex in the neutral zone. I thought,
there you go.
Being very neutral. Which I respect.
But Gray,
you're
the best of us.
I'm not. I'm the optimistic fool who keeps getting fooled again. Fooled again.
Not a fool. Because if you were a fool, I would not suffer you. You're not a fool.
I do not suffer fools lightly. Nice.
Definitely not. So let's talk data and lore and the most predictable outcome that took up 10 minutes of my life that I'll never get back.
God, they stretched it out, Alex, didn't they? Again, another stretched out scene.
So apparently, if you look at the monitor, the display, you see Data's positronic brain, and it's made out of several nodes, of little dots that you see, patterned, around that cranium. And well, the red ones are evil, or the red ones are lore, and the blue ones are Data. Why? Well,
it's like a video game, really old.
Red is evil and blue is good, apparently. So, and it might not have anything to do with politics. Excuse me, sorry, that came out. Sorry.
Bless you.
Excuse me. Yeah, sorry, gesundheit myself. But yeah, so they lowered. They're like, if we lower the partition, so there's a partition between Data and lore before, and whatever other personality is just like a backup system or whatever. So Data and lore are pretty much at war with each other over who's going to dominate or take over. So lore, so they're like, if we raise the partition, lore could take over Data. And then Picard's like, well, if we raise the partition, maybe Data could take over Data. Okay, that sounds dumb. Data takes over old Brent Spiner, hybrid guy thing. And then now they're in the sky, or they're in the sky, and there's so much lens flares, like obnoxiously an obnoxious amount of lens flares, and they're talking about trinkets.
Yep.
Like, here's a member berry. Remember that deck of cards? Remember Data used to play poker? Gives it to Lore. Lore just whisks it. Why am I giving him these things? Because I had everything and you had nothing. Because Lore is just a lonely, empty.
Yeah, Lore is an empty, lonely loser who, as soon as Data shows him a modicum of kindness and respect, Lore isn't a bad guy anymore. Lore becomes just like Data. Cue salty. Stop George in the comments is 100% right. Member berries killed Lore. What a fucking joke.
That's a great one. The member berries kill Law. Nice one, Stop George.
Yeah, because those memories, those I mean, they're literally they're memories. They're memories that Lore was just too. He couldn't resist them, and because they are memories of Data that make Data who he is, they basically made Lore Data. Because now he has Data's memories.
More exciting.
So Lore just kind of whisks away, and then Data wakes up and he's Data, but he can use like I said, he can use contractions, and he can feel. He's like, how do you feel? He's like, I can feel, and I felt something.
I'm Pinocchio. I'm a real boy.
I felt something. I honestly, when Geordi, I'm going to say this again, when Geordi says, I'm so happy to have you back, that just
I wanted to punch him in the face.
Well, you were punching. I felt, oh God, I just felt it. I don't know.
Why. Oh, sorry, Nipo, did you feel it? I'm sorry. It just really annoyed me this episode more and more as it went on. I just lost it this time. I don't know why. I'm glad you got some good out of it, something positive, because it's good to see him back, Geordie, but I think because I know the guy, I've seen him in there on Twitter, and he's a bloody idiot, LeVar Burton,
so
whatever he's called.
Bandit has this to say. He says, in Measure of Man, Data explains to the scientists that his experiences were his essence of being. So I can buy that giving those items to Lore are him combining with Lore. Yeah.
No, it was dumb and cheesy. And besides, Lore was throwing them away. He was deleting the memories. He wasn't internalizing them.
But yet somehow they.
But some, yeah, just what? Why am I thinking about this logically?
I was kind of okay with that. I was kind of okay with that stuff with Data and Lore. Yeah, obviously it was very predictable. But now the question was, I thought they killed Data. Like they shut him off. So Does that mean he was just back? How many times was he backed up? I mean, maybe I don't read enough books or comics or something, because I know the Countdown comic, which is supposed to be a prequel to the 2009, J.J. Abrams film. We know that he's like Captain Data on the Enterprise E, I think. So I'm just curious how many times he got backed up.
I mean, I'm assuming an infinite number of times on account of the fact that he's a robot and you can do it as many as you want. But
yeah,
how many times is he going to be conveniently retrieved when the plot depends on it? That's I don't know.
Yeah, Salty doesn't agree with me. I know. I honestly I mean, I don't know what other. I mean, I'm not sure what. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what the issue was with the thing, with the Data and Lore. I know you said you didn't. You said you thought it was kind of dumb. So
it was just predictable. I mean, as soon as we knew Data wasn't going to die.
Yeah.
So we knew as soon as Data started giving him the stuff in that kind of faux resigned voice, what was going to happen. I mean, and Gray, maybe I'm just blanking, but I feel like I've seen that particular thing like 3 or 4 times. And I mean, just as soon as it started happening, I knew immediately what it was. So I guess I was wholly unimpressed by it.
Salty has something interesting to say right here. He says Lore did have experience way beyond Data. He had more experience with their father. That's true. I didn't think about that. You watch the episode Brothers. And he had relationships with the colonists, and all the colonists were afraid of him, and that's why he ended up killing them with the crystalline entity. So
yeah,
I forget what he actually had in Data lore. He had a nickname for Dr. Soong. I forgot what he called him. Always ever wrong Soong or something. Always wrong Soong. Something like that. So yeah, Salty is definitely onto something. So yeah. There you go.
Laughing at Joseph Dredd's comment because Lady Balefire was asking how do they deal with Brent Spiner, and Joseph Dredd said they just show old fat Data.
Okay, and Joseph Dredd corrected me. Often wrong Soong. That's what they call it.
That's
Often
it.
Wrong Soong.
Often wrong Gray. Cheers.
Hey, don't be too hard on yourself. So,
these 2 episodes were terrible. The last 2. Oh dear.
So, do you think that the only reason why Sydney was in the room? It seemed like only reason why Sydney was in the room with Picard and Crusher was to confirm to them that Jack has these abilities because they didn't believe him. They're just like, "Oh, you must be hallucinating or something." And she's like, "No, it's true. He took over me," and she says it like it's nothing. She says like it just it's normal. It happens. Taking over.
I kind of enjoyed it.
He was inside me. He was inside.
God.
Shout out to
Star
Trek
Trek
Picard for being accidentally based enough to have the white guy enslave the black chick. I don't know through the implications of that, but go for it, guys.
Oh my God! So, what did you think of? No, tell me about someone who loves you. What did you think of that? Because they're
so cringe.
It was just like. I'm just like, why? I like what? Like, was this they're copying Palpatine? He's like, no, you will die. That's what I thought when I. Well, actually, no, that's not what I thought. I thought of it today when I saw that.
See, I didn't hate that bit, and the reason I liked it is because it made the Bajoran look good.
That's true. I'll have to say it. The Lieutenant Matthew Arliss Mura tactical was pretty based in that moment because he's like, what do you love? And he's like, I have a son. Well, Picard has a son too. Tell him to come up to the bridge. And he's like, no, I'm Starfleet.
Yeah, that guy became my favorite character in that moment.
Yeah, and then Shaw was a bitch.
I'm just glad they gave him something to say for a change. Yeah, he actually had a moment.
He was pretty much like I think it was the beginning of episode 3. No, it was episode 4. Or no, maybe it was episode. What was the beginning of the episode where Jack has that dream? I think it was episode 3, and you see the bridge there, and I think he was in command, and he was basically giving the orders. And then Jack just comes up and kills everybody.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And we're just like, I was like, yes, this is starting out like a normal Star Trek episode, and then because the episodes before were starting with flashbacks to years ago, which I don't like because I'm a gatekeeper, and then we see a dream sequence. I was just like, oh boy. So, but yeah, he talked like they had dialogue. So I mean, I wanted to see them develop more. You had Shaw or Asshat or whatever, and develop those characters and make them, and along with Jack and Sydney and LaForge's other daughter and just make them the next nuts generation, bloody generation.
That's perfect, Napo. Jack, Sydney, LaForge's other daughter. There's so many characters whose names we've no idea who they are unless you actually take a moment to, pause and check the subtitles. You know the names. I don't know even how you know them. It's crazy. The crew. How many of the crew can you name? It's as bad as Discovery, isn't it? In that regard.
Well, I mean. Mr. Burnett himself has said this is way better than Discovery because we care more about these characters than
the
we
writing's
do in
better,
Discovery.
I mean, that's a pile
it
of
is.
crap.
It is way better than Discovery. But again,
without doubt.
I think I've said the difference between 3 points on a 10 scale is a lot. But just because this is 3 points better than Discovery doesn't mean a 4 is a good television show.
It's so much better than Discovery, but yeah, it still sucks. Guys, I missed last week. What did you think of last week's episode? Did you kind of get bored like me with it? I was really bored.
You know what I thought? Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? You need some help from you now. I mean, they get copyrighted. So yeah, they're like, oh, you got to chase us first. And they're running in the corridor being chased by Vadic's minions. I'm like, is this how far low Star Trek has gotten?
We need the Benny Hill theme, like one of Zax's videos.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's just, just so that they use voice commands to trap Vadic and capture her. And the thing was, they had her. She was right there, like within almost point blank range of Picard and Beverly's phasers, and yet they missed her completely. Like they intentionally missed her. It's like they wanted her to get away so that that she could take over the ship and kill Lieutenant Tavine. And just the fact that they let that happen also pissed me off. It wasn't just Shaw, but the fact that they just let that happen. Like, because Jack was trying to leave. Picard and Beverly like, if you go to him, he's going to kill us all. Well, I don't know. I have to remember how they handled hostage situations. I remember the episode Power Play where these incorporeal criminals take over Troy, Data, and O'Brien, and they're holding people in the 10 Fort, I believe. Mm. I don't remember, but did they kill? Do you remember if they killed anybody? I don't think they did. All I remember is that Data just they had a field set where the aliens nearly got exorcised out, but then they went back in, and then Data leaves and attacks Picard and does the Michael Myers thing, holding him up with one hand by the neck, and he's like, release. He's like, turn off the field. I don't remember if they killed anybody. I was more engaged with that. I thought they were more menacing than what we got here in this episode.
Yeah,
execution. Go for it, Alex. Go on.
It would help if they were threatening to execute people I didn't care about, or that I cared about. I mean, right. The people on that crew, I don't care to, please, dear God, shoot this bitch. Like there was, I guess I sort of like the Doran guy. He was my favorite of them, but even he was not super high on my list. I kind of liked Shaw. I'll be honest, after watching Jerry Ryan tweet today, I was kind of hoping 7 of 9 was going to get it.
What did she say now?
She had some comments regarding Transformers.
Oh, God. I bet she
Transformers?
Did.
She's in Transformers?
You can't say, the Transformers. You know what I mean?
Oh.
You know how Transformers like kids?
Oh.
Yep.
Oh.
Those Transformers, Nipro, yeah. What an idiot. The whole execution scene, guys, did you not just feel like, why did nobody try to do anything? They just accepted it, didn't they? Didn't try and save any of them. It didn't make any sense. I thought.
7 of 9 reacted, but then, like I said, Shaw pulled her back, and then Picard and Beverly just let it happen. They just said, they stopped Jack from going, and Jack didn't go, or they didn't even come up with a plan to, there was, I forget what episode was it. He's like, it was Errand of Mercy, original series. Kirk, the Klingons killed 200 Organians. We don't see it, but we hear the Klingon disruptors going off, and they're like, "Oh, 200 Organians have just been killed." And he's like, Kirk is just looking in horror. He's like, "No more. No more are going to die on account of us." And they go on a suicide mission to find Core and to take him out before any more Organians could get killed. So just letting people die is not acceptable. And it's, I don't know. Maybe I'm not seeing something.
Nope. You and I are in the same boat. The entire reaction to that situation was entirely antithetical to Star Trek.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it just felt really wrong.
So here's one thing I don't, this episode did not answer. So they find Picard's body, and for some reason, Picard's body looks just like he did in The Next Generation. So it doesn't look like his old body. It looks like season 3 Picard when in Captain's Holiday, because we unfortunately get to see his bare chest in that episode. And that's what he looks like. He looks like Picard from TNG as opposed to old man Picard in this. And then they just they took some parts of his parietal lobe that was infected with the aromatic syndrome. And one thing that Steve brought up was the Predator movie, the fourth one, the one with the autism makes you powerful deal. And that's what he was comparing this particular plot point to. I've not seen it, so I don't
finish that movie. I started it like 10 minutes to turn it off.
I did not see that movie. I just heard it was trash. And but I did watch when I hung out with Steve. We watched Prey.
You got to pray.
Yeah. So apparently the aromatic is. So do you think it's aromatic syndrome that they need, or is it something else? Because earlier, I think it was an episode or two ago, they're listening to, I don't know if it was Data or if they were listening to the computer saying that that him having aromatic is questioned at this point, and that's why they kept the body or something. And by the way, did they leave the body on the ship and they destroyed it?
I think so.
I believe so. We didn't get a scene of them carting it off.
No, we didn't. They just they found the body. They downloaded the database on the Shrike, and there was only one guard that they killed. Like one guard was killed. One guard was killed, and Worf just came out of nowhere. Like he literally came out of nowhere. Deus Ex Worf.
He did it twice.
Yeah, he did an episode at the end of episode 2. He
did it twice in this episode.
When did he do it a second time?
When he saved Rafi.
When did he save Rafi? I thought Rafi took them all out by herself.
No,
and then one popped up, and then he shot it. And
the last one had a gun, didn't it? The last one actually remembered to pull his gun out. Hey, I've got a gun after she'd already defeated 4. Hand-to-hand combat because she's a girl boss.
So, is there a reason why they didn't shoot Rafi? Like, did they not have guns?
Plot armor.
Did they not have their guns? Was there any explanation?
No, they had their guns. It was just a bad TV show. That's all it was.
To make her look good, basically.
You would think they would know that. You would think that. You would think they're professional. I mean, Star Trek has been made for years. Like, you'd think they would know to do that. So,
Brian, I can't tell. Are you having a long-running sarcastic bit, or have you just not watched television in the last 15 years?
I'll be honest, I haven't watched nearly as much as you guys.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just asking the question. I'm just like, why? Just like what has happened? What has changed that like things like this can now happen, whereas they didn't happen before, or if they did, they were barely noticeable.
We have far more emphasis placed on fights as far as, episodic content. I mean, when you think about, a lot of old Trek, how many episodes of old Trek never had an actual confrontation? It was purely an exchange of ideas, and there was no hand-to-hand fight at all.
It was usually verbal, wasn't it, Alex? They'd talk the way out of things.
Like with let's go part 2, Chain of Command part 2, Picard versus Gul Madred. Picard defeated Gul Madred not by punching him, but just simply by not giving into him.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then just saying, and then never saying that there were 5 lights. And the last thing he says is, "There are 4 lights," and then they take him away. And then Madred's just like, that's good writing.
Yeah, but whereas now they need to have at least 2 hand-to-hand hand-to-hand fights. But because we're making these things so fast, we don't have time to do good choreography. We don't have time to train our actors and actresses appropriately to actually do this kind of thing. So we just kind of slop it together, and that's what this was. I mean, it's lazy, bad, incompetent television.
Stop George is like, why didn't Data trap the changelings in the corridors like in episode 6? And then he says it again, why didn't he trap the changelings in the corridors like in episode 7? I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, they've just blatantly established that there are rules to this that just they don't use. I mean, it's terrible. So Lady B brought something up in the chat. Was Picard in this episode?
Yeah,
just a little bit. Blink and you miss him, kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. He didn't deliver any meaningful dialogue. He didn't make any definitive actions. He didn't. I mean, he basically could have been replaced. We could have swapped him and one of the bald chicks, and I probably wouldn't have even noticed physically, much less character-wise.
So, Alex, right at the end though, he was integral to that scene where they're all around the table together, and it's like, I need you.
He's like,
that's about it.
And he was just basically stating the obvious. What's funny was at the end of the episode, let me see. I think I wrote down what was said.
We've got the band back together.
So the crew are back together. So the Data has reunited with them. He hugs a bunch of them, and the thing that I liked that I saw from this particular scene was that or I might, if I brought it up, forgive me, but like when Picard says, I saw you die. You wished you were dead, and he's like, did I betray that wish? I was just thinking, fuck off. But then I liked Data's response saying, maybe that version is resting, but I have no desire to die. And that part really did move me. And yeah, I had to pause it yesterday, and I was silent. I teared up a little bit. I do have the ability to cry. I do have these things called emotions.
Do you have feelings? Do you have emotions, Neporial? For Star Trek?
I feel young. Just like Wrath of Khan. I'm
glad you got some positivity from it, mate. I really am, because I was searching for it this episode.
And then they just basically like Worf said something stupid again, and that's he's like, I would have sent you all the heads of my slain enemies.
That was so off again.
I'm like, what? I'm like, huh? Like really?
No.
I mean, unless I somehow misinterpreted what he said, but that's kind of what I think he said.
No, that's what he said.
And then Picard's like, they need to put a stop. We need to put a stop to the changelings and the frontier day is only hours away. And then I think was the director's like, and we got no answers. Yeah, just like us, like the audience, we have no answers. So I feel like I'm just feeling like, and I said this yesterday, I feel like we don't even know the stakes yet. We don't even know who the main bad guy is. Whoever the floating head, Blofeld type of bad guy. I mean, he reminded me of Blofeld, evil bad guy, or Leader X from Gatchaman. If you ever seen the old anime
Made out of
Gatchaman,
putty, made out of clay.
or like a bad guy from frickin' Kamen Rider, another Japanese live action tokusatsu. You're one dimensional evil bad guys that just want to dominate everything, and they mistreat their minions, their lackeys, and Vatic felt like just another lackey being controlled by this evil head thing. I'm curious, like, is this thing like, what is this? I'm like, who's ordering her? Is any theories?
Does anyone care at this point?
Gray, man, you are touching on my biggest issue with this season. I am checked out. Like, I'm going to limp through the last of these 2 episodes, but it is rough to still give a shit about these characters.
Thank God there are only 2 episodes left. That's what I'm thinking now. I can't believe I'm saying it, but thank goodness.
Yeah. But no, it's got to be some sort of Dominion offshoot that's running the show. And why the Dominion is allowing these dipshits to run around terrorizing the Federation, knowing that if, there's a decent chance this ends in a fucking war. But I don't know.
Yeah. Like they can control, like, I mean, the shapeshifters, the founders are pretty magical. Like they can manipulate other members of the Link, even from far away. Odo got hit all the way from quadrants away by a disease in the episode Broken Link, and I've brought this up before. Is it maybe? I mean, I'm assuming they're just gonna put a throwaway line saying that with these evolved shapeshifters, they can't go back home, like Brad S said yesterday, or they just can't control them. Like, Jack cannot enter them, Troy can't feel them. I'm assuming the founders can't touch them. Can't touch them. Okay, that was bad, but still, maybe it's Nagilum. Yeah, let's just we'll say Nagilum. We'll have fun and say Nagilum. So Salty's like, okay, having a Manhattan and not driving. Okay,
let's go.
Let's go. So apparently now they're giving Troy something to do. So Troy is going to be the one to find the answers to the questions that we've been having since episode 3, I think. So she's telling Jack to go through the door, and he's too scared to open the door, the red door. Oh, sorry. I'm getting a little too far ahead of myself. How the fuck does Vatic know? How the fuck does Vatic know what he's seeing? How does she know about the red door? How does she know about the voices?
She's one of the cardboard walls of the mystery box.
And Jack is trying to ask her, like, how do you know this? Where, how do you know about what are these? What is this batshit circles? Like, what's going on here? She's like, I can help you. Just like, I can help you put the pieces together and you'll get your answers. And I'm just like,
why did they want Picard's body? They were going to make a clone, I guess, of Picard. Why do they want Jack? They're going to use Jack's powers with Picard's body and somehow destroy the universe on Foundation Day? Is that it?
I was talking to a friend of mine this morning, and he thinks that they're going to use all the ships in Geordi's possession to fight a fleet or something. They're going to use all those ships from the museum. So we're going to be seeing Memberberry. This show is going to be called Star Trek Memberberry Central now. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be. I honestly don't know if that's going to be the case. I kind of hope not, but he might. My friend might be right though.
I hate how right he's going to be. That's totally what they're going to do.
Are they going to use the
Fuck
ships,
me.
you think, in the end? The final scenes, like the final episode, a huge battle of member berries.
Well, yeah, literally, it's going to be all the old ships versus all the new ships. I mean, that's why else would they have introduced all those old ships? And, I mean, it's literally a Chekhov's gun. Why would you write about the gun on the wall if you don't plan on using it?
Exactly.
Oh, nice reference. I tell you, I was watching Voyager Scorpion Part 1 and 2 as a palate cleanser. Man, how good is that compared to this? I mean, I know me and you been rewatching original series as well, Nerporial, and that's fantastic. But I'm getting back into Voyager because I dropped it before I got to season 4 originally, so I'm getting into it now.
That's the season that got me into the Scorpion Part 1 and Part 2 got me into Voyager as a kid. Like I'm seeing, you see that final shot of like you see like a formation of the species 8472 ships combining their orange beams, and then they're firing it just like a Death Star, and they destroy the Borg. They destroy like several Borg ships in the process, and the Borg cube that is fleeing from them while more ships are coming out of the fluidic space, and it's dragging Voyager with them, and that's how the episode ends, with the Borg just fleeing from all these 8472 ships with them dragging Voyager. You're like,
wasn't it?
You're like, how are they going to conclude this? Like, this is insane. This is batshit crazy. That like this is a new this is going to be the new big bad, and then they didn't do that. They made peace. The 8472 was too expensive to make, so they made them Boothby and Starfleet Academy. And if you've watched Red Letter Media, Zach Galligan was the one that they capture in the beginning. So him and Robert Picardo, they had a little reunion from Gremlins 2.
Oh, really? I'll have to watch that.
Yeah, that was Zach Galligan who, in the
Gremlins.
Yeah,
Gremlins 2.
Gremlins 2. Yeah, Picardo was not in the first one, but he's in a whole bunch of Joe Dante films. He was in The Howling, and he was in Gremlins. He was in a whole bunch of stuff that Dante did. So, but yeah, it ended, and then the Borg became the bad guys again. They just they had an opportunity to do something really awesome, and they didn't do it. I mean, Voyager was another missed opportunity, but for when it comes to ideas. But hey, I could still watch an episode. It still had the Star Trek format. It wasn't nearly as good as DS9 or TNG, but hey, I could watch it and still enjoy a Star Trek story, even though a lot of the ideas were kind of repurposed. So
it took a while to get going, didn't it? Like Enterprise did. It took a while to get going, but there are good episodes in there, even in the early seasons.
Yeah.
And then when you watch this, you're kind of like, oh, dear me, what a difference.
I mean, at least you got to see different characters throughout the seasons. Voyager, like you got to see new ships, you got to see new aliens, you got to see new worlds, and it's because it was episodic. It was mostly episodic. I mean, the main narrative was them getting home, but you got to see different things throughout the season. Here, you have a full season, and new seasons don't come out like every. You don't get a 6-month break like you did back then. Now it's like a 1 to 2 year. 2 year breaks, and you're getting these seasons that are just like a single story, and you get very few new characters. You get very minimal world building. Like, we haven't seen any alien ships. All we've seen were the Federation ships, and the only aliens that are out there are the shapeshifters.
Yep.
I mean, we haven't seen any Cardassians. We haven't seen any Klingons or any new races or any new ships. I mean, we saw. I mean, they had those and the Shrike, dude.
Whose ship is
earlier,
the Shrike?
The Shrike was such a disappointment.
Whose ship is it? Is it the changelings, the terrorist changelings? Is it the bird alien ship? Where's it come from? Who do we know? We don't know anything about it. Apart from it looked pretty cool when it went out like a pussy.
I'm assuming they still use the same Dominion style. Like, it looked like they were using the Dominion designs inside. I don't know for sure. But I think it did kind of look like a Jem'Hadar ship on the inside, kind of.
It was even darker inside that ship than in the Titan, wasn't it? God, it was dark in there.
But the thing was, the Jem'Hadar ships didn't have seats. I don't know if you remember the episode of Time to Stand. Remember there was an episode where they called the ship in season 5 where they try to claim a ship, and they're being bombarded by another Jem'Hadar ship, another Vorta, an inexperienced Vorta woman, but she just lets them take the ship, and then they use that ship in Time to Stand in the beginning of season 6. And if you want to see a serialized story, episode, serialized, watch the 7-part DS9 episode from Call to Arms to Sacrifice of Angels. That will keep you on the edge of your seat. That had a lot of shit going on. That felt very organic. Or the final 10 episodes of DS9 season 7. Even with Kai Wynn and Gul Dukat not looking like Gul Dukat, I'll say. I mean, that's how you do, and that's what when Picard came out, that's what I was expecting. I was expecting that type of writing, and heck, I even went into this season expecting that type of writing. I was expecting it to be way better than seasons 1 and 2, and I was expecting more of, I was expecting more of, I was just expecting more of that type of writing. So.
I watched For the Uniform yesterday, and let's talk about the garage door before I
Stop George is killing it in the chat, by the way. Just got to say.
Legend.
What the F was that about? Come on, the bridge door, the garage door that just suddenly.
And just like I said, somehow they did not get sucked into outer space. What? Because they had the spherical droideka shield, the droideka from Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, and like you just it seems like that you see their backs, you barely see them, you just see them get sucked out, and that was also from Star Wars. Can you think of a movie, or well, some people would say it's not Star Wars, but can you think of a movie, the last something? Didn't something like that happen in a movie called The Last Jedi?
Yep.
I don't remember that movie, apart from the green titty milk. I can't remember it.
Where they open the bay, the Millennium Falcon flies out, and Kylo Ren somehow holds on to the deck of the ship while the Millennium Falcon flies out. Yes.
I've forgotten about that completely. No way.
So when I was in school, one of my professors he wrote a paper, and it was the 7 ways that a human being would die instantly if exposed to the vacuum of space. You freeze to death basically instantly. Your body would basically just drop to nothing. All of your organs would explode without atmospheric pressure to keep them in. Your lungs would blow out. Basically, a human body exposed to the vacuum of space dies horrifically so quickly that it's basically 7 or 8 things kill you instantly. So watching in sci-fi people be exposed to space and live for 4 minutes really
drama,
pisses
Alex.
me off.
It's drama. It's dramatic. They can't. Otherwise, they.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying. You're exactly right. It's just they have to draw it out. They have to make everything, longer and more dramatic. And it's I was surprised that she didn't do a Mary Poppins, Princess Leia style, and start flying towards the Shrike, unfrozen and perfectly fine.
She froze and hit the Shrike and shattered into multiple pieces. So, question for you, question for the chat: is she dead, or will she come back? I say she's still alive.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And she'll be picked up. And she'll be picked up by the bigger bad, whoever that is.
I thought she was going into the Shrike anyway. I didn't think she was going to break into 1,000 pieces. I thought she was going to go straight in and she'll be fine. That's what I thought they were going to do.
Or I thought she was going to go. Yeah, like for a second I was like, is she going to go inside the ship?
She's going to go. Yeah, open the doors quick. Open the doors. She's coming in. Here we go.
Yeah,
She's gonna be Star Guardians of the Galaxy, or Naomi in that fucking terrible episode of The Expanse. But
where she
episode,
survived for like 2 weeks in space.
Yeah. Season 5.
So bad.
Vatic needs a hand. Yeah, there you go.
Just hold your breath, Alex. You'll be fine. Okay.
Oh, but you know this. So yeah. So this. So yeah. So we got. So Vac is okay. So Vac, we think so. Vac is going to come back. The crew, the TNG crew is back together. Shaw is truly a dipshit from Chicago, apparently, just like me.
He's been written out of the show almost, isn't he?
I don't know. I honestly don't know what they're going to do next. I watched I did watch the Ready Room. You know, yay!
Oh, you didn't. You traitor.
I didn't watch the whole thing. I was skipping through it because at the end of the Ready Room, they always show like a clip for the next episode. So they're the Troy and Troy and Jack are there. She opens the door. Troy, she's there in the dream with him or in his mind, and she is like, he's too afraid to open the door, the red door, so she opens it, and then you hear boom, and then she opens her eyes, and then she's just like she leaves the room. She leaves the room with Jack, and Jack's like, "What the hell? What's going on?" It's like she's like, "Fuck this, I'm out." But like that's literally, and that's how. And he's like, "What did you see? What did you see?" And then it cuts off. Then it cuts to. Then that's all we see. So that's next week's preview. So,
Naporio, check out the comment from Stop George, the latest one. Notice that nobody from the actual crew was in the boardroom planning scene at the end.
No, it was just the TNG. It was just the TNG cast. You know,
the member berry reunion. Yeah, that was it.
The reunion that we all wanted. You know, the reunion that fans have craved and everything.
How many episodes it took to get here? I've lost count. Are we on 6 or was it 8?
This is episode 8.
Jesus.
This is the literal Last Jedi of this series. Literally episode 8. Get it? Pun intended. So, okay, that was bad.
Boys, this is not episode 8. This is episode what? 25, 26? Like
28.
28. God damn. Let's not give it to. Those first 2 seasons count.
Oh God, yeah, I forgot about those. They've been dismissed.
Those seasons are not even connected to this season. They don't follow up on anything that's established in those seasons, except for relationships and everything.
Rafi Bomb made it.
Yeah. But on a lighter note, I intend to do a giveaway today. So. Yeah, giveaway. So I have in my possession. I'll have to bring it. So just give me a second. Gray, Alex.
I'm giving away my positivity. Anyone want some positivity? I gave it away. Picard took it.
I'll take some of that if you got it.
Oh mate, Alex. Seriously though, this was a stinker, wasn't it? It was so bad. This episode.
It was awful. This is, for me, the wheels are off and the bottom of the car is just skidding along the road, kicking up sparks. Like
sparks going up, yeah.
I mean, all we're waiting for it to do is hit a wall, start on fire, blow up, and kill the driver. Like, and I'm assuming that's what's going to happen in the next 2 episodes.
2 episodes left to go. You wonder are they saving a big finale, aren't they, for episode 10? So next episode, what's going to happen? More nothing, more stretched out scenes.
I mean, I'm assuming they have to get to the Federation. I mean, episode
Frontier
10,
Day.
Yeah, episode 10 has to be Frontier Day. So
yeah.
I mean, that's where the fight's got to happen. I don't know, man.
Maybe we'll see Seven get back together with Raffi, and then they'll save the day at the end in the final episode. I'm out, mate. I'm totally out now. Just like last episode and this one, it just lost me.
Yeah, it broke me. I don't know what. Who likes this? What is wrong with you people?
A lot of people, a lot of big YouTubers love it. The only person who's spoken out about it is, do you know the Little Platoon? He's on sometimes with Critical Drinker, and he's the only one saying like it's not good this at all. It's not well written. It's member berries every episode.
The Little Platoon is fucking excellent, and I swear is the only guy that's still has it. What I mean, so I saw Russell Crowe was on with Critical Drinker the other day. Yeah. Which, to me, while interesting, tells me that the Critical Drinker has officially sold out, because there's no way on God's green earth the studio would let Russell Crowe go on with somebody who isn't approved.
No, that's right.
So for me, that means that he's open for business. And I don't know. That's disappointing.
He and Nerdrotic are the biggest surprises for me. Like Robert Meyer Burnett, he's whatever, but yeah, Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic are just like, I can't get why they're saying this is so good. I just don't get it. Sorry, Napoleon, you're back. Yes.
I am. So just to prove that I have what I say I have a 4K of Star Trek: The Motion Picture, the director's cut. As you can see, I haven't opened this, and there's, I'm shaking this right now. It's not loose. The discs are perfect condition. So here, so type in hashtag Star Trek TMP, and you can have a chance to win a 4K. So make sure you have a 4K Blu-ray player, and if you have a 4K TV, this would be perfect. So as you can see, I already own the original motion picture collection on 4K. So this came with it, and then I have the special motion picture version that came out with everything. So yeah, so everybody start typing. If you have this, if you want this, put it in the chat right now. And I'm using the StreamYard's giveaway tool. So. And so that's this. And the other thing, and I did this when I think I was with the week before I visited everybody. I did one for Wrath of Khan, but the person that won the Wrath of Khan thing never claimed it, never sent me his address, so I couldn't send it to him. So, yeah. So it looks like but as long as you have a 4K Blu-ray player and ideally you have a 4K TV. This would be the perfect thing to have. And I saw this in the theater, pure magic. I mean, this is not the best Star Trek film, but dude, this is such a treat to watch. And the definitive version. So there you go. So, all right. So let's see. I'm wondering if I should start the giveaway tool now. I'm gonna have to let me share my screen. So I got 7 people.
No problem. Do you want to give it a score? Should we give this a score? Does anyone care? Out of 10. This is my lowest score so far, and I'm still being fair because I try and be fair. I'm giving this a 3.5 out of 10.
3.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Damn.
Stinker.
That is real low for you, Gray. Like, yeah. And you're supposed to be the modicum of positivity. You're the one that's better than us. You're the one that uplifts us.
I'm not better at all. I've been averaging a 6.5 to a 7, haven't I? Pretty much all the way through. I've never said 8, 9, or 10. I made that clear. I've never said it's great. I just said I was enjoying quite a lot about it. So 3.5. Not even a 4, Alex. A 3.5 out of 10.
And as you can see right now, Prophet never showed up. So that's how fucked up this episode. I mean, if you saw his reaction to yesterday's episode, and heck, I messaged him,
I'm channeling Prophet.
And he didn't respond.
He's
Steve, if you're out there, say something. Are you okay? I know you went saw Mario. Maybe, I don't know. Just let us know you're okay, man. So yeah, there you go. So yeah, that's how crazy this episode was. I said this before. It was 2 hours and 45 minutes. That's how long our yesterday's stream was, and the episode's only 52 minutes long. What does that tell you?
I can't wait to watch that. I'm gonna go back and watch it.
You're in for a treat. You're in for a treat. Like I've never seen Steve like that. Like that's just like he was just yeah. So all right, so I'm going to share the screen so that everybody knows. Share. You guys see it?
Yep.
All right. Let's draw. Salty wins. Nice.
It's a fix. It's a fix.
All right. So Salty wins. So as long as you have a 4K, perfect.
I'm just jealous, Salty.
All right, and you know what? I'll just all right. So we'll so Salty gets the motion picture, and now I gotta make one for the Wrath of Khan. So let me see if I can go back, or no, that's not what I wanted. So I need to create one for hashtag Star Trek TWOK.
To walk.
Start collecting comments. So start putting anybody that wants Wrath of Khan. Well, Salty already won motion picture, so you don't worry about it. But anybody wants the 4K for the Wrath of Khan, type this one in, and we will see. We'll see who gets this one. So everybody, type in your stuff. Type in your
Salty,
stuff.
you're not allowed to enter twice.
Yes.
Just kidding.
I'm glad. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for thank you for being part of this. This is. I mean, we only have 2 more weeks left, so I think this has been a blast doing this. I feel
better for talking with you guys about it. I feel much better than how I was this morning when I finished watching it. I think that's why I went back to sleep. And I was like, I'm going back to bed. God, I was disappointed.
It just feels, I mean, it feels pretty cathartic just having these conversations. You know?
Yeah, it does.
And once again, I'm not watching this to whatever hate watching means. I'm watching this because there's been a lot of people that I follow that have said that this is really good, that have not liked the other seasons. Same with me. And I was like, wow, that's great. Then we're going to see something, maybe not exactly the same, but something really good. And everything that I've been seeing I've only seen a few things that I've liked. There were a few things in this episode that I did like. There was the Roe stuff in episode 5 that I liked. The end of episode 4 kind of grew on me. So thank you, Alex, for that. I mean, I rewatched episode 4 and I don't feel nearly as annoyed with it, but still the jellyfish, I don't know. So yeah. So all right. So you guys ready? So anybody ready for? Are you ready for the second countdown?
Fire it up.
All right.
It's the final countdown.
We're leaving together. Okay. All right. So we got 5 entries. All right. Last chance. You know, going once. Going twice. Going, 3. Okay, all right. So now we're going to do it. So, all right. So here goes. Let's see who's going to get it. Will Jacob get it? Will Pacific get it? Will Lady B get it? No, Mr. Dread got it. Mr. Dread. So congratulations, Mr. Dread, for winning the Wrath of Khan 4K. So now you can watch, you can watch Khan firing at the Reliant firing on the Enterprise in glorious 4K, and it has both the regular theatrical version and the director's version. So there you go. Congratulations. So, and I want to thank Salty for another super chat. Let me put it up here for $4.99. Thank you, sir. Cheers, Alex. I want to see you. I want to see you a sexy red dress again, Gray.
He's getting so excited he can't type in English. What's going on there?
You have a couple of Manhattans.
Oh, pour one for me, Salty, mate. But it's a bit early though. It's not even noon.
Because it's evening for us. And by the way, Gray, you know what I just watched today for the first time?
What?
I watched Midnight Cowboy.
Oh, brilliant! Are you going to join the stream later?
If you want me to.
Oh, of course. I thought it was just going to be me because I think everyone's busy. Oh, that's great, mate.
Yeah, my dad owned the movie on VHS, and I
used to have it on VHS.
And I think my dad bought the Blu-ray or something, and I've never watched it. I tried watching it once, and I just couldn't get into it. Now I just was curious, and I watched it, and it's a very interestingly edited movie. Like,
yes.
Back in that day, they didn't tell you things; they showed you things, and there's a lot of things that are implied. So you don't get answers. Like, it's really up to the viewer. Or if you're even familiar with the source material.
One of the great things about it. It's such a 60s movie. It's right at the end of the 60s. And it's really got that kind of style, hasn't it? That feeling, that atmosphere. But I've seen, it's New York, isn't it?
Yeah.
How seedy it looks. It's awesome.
Yeah.
69.
It's like he's living with Dustin Hoffman. And it's basically what do you call those places? They're squatting, basically.
Yeah, they're squatting in like an abandoned
condemned building.
Old tenement, yeah.
Old tenement, yeah. God, it's so good.
Yeah. So there you go. So I saw it, and it was a very interesting movie. Another Dustin Hoffman movie that ends on a bus. Because Graduate ends on a bus too.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. But I thought him and John Voight did a pretty good job. So we'll talk about that on your stream. So this is where we're going to end the stream. Everybody say. Everybody just message Prophet and say, hey, we missed you. Hope you're doing okay. Because I haven't heard a peep from him today. Like, he's been dead silent. I mean, he went and saw the Mario movie, so maybe he's just spending time with the family. So I need to hear his reaction to that. I like the Mario movie, by the way. So,
have you watched it, Napoleon? It's not out in Japan until the 29th.
I know. What the hell? You're like Mario. Japan is where Mario was originated. You'd think that Japan would have it first.
I thought it would have been the same day release, and it's because it's been spring break over here too. You know, the kids go back on Monday, so it's crazy. They missed out on that completely.
You know what's funny is a lot of I went to the theater Wednesday morning.
Yeah,
and a lot of parents let their kids stay home from school to go see that movie. Like, there was a bunch of kids in the theater at 11 a.m. on a weekday.
Is it not spring break over there? I thought you were off. The kids were off school.
I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe you might be right. And look who's in the chat, Angry Canadian. I can't say what it was, but there was so much fan service in it, and with the fan service,
the Mario Kart scenes. I can't wait. I used to love that game so much.
Mario Kart, there's a member berry to Super Mario Kart. I'm just gonna say that Mario Kart,
the SNES, the SNES version.
Yep, the SNES version.
I can't wait.
I heard something. I was just like, I heard something, and I was just like, oh my gosh, they're playing this one. Because like when you talk to Mario Kart fans, when you think of Rainbow Road, you always think of the N64 one, never the Super Nintendo one. So I don't want to go give any more away. But hey,
Alex, have you seen it, or are you going to?
I have not seen it yet. I probably will go see it. I've heard very mixed things about it.
Yeah, me too. I've been hearing mixed things about it, but
if you're a fan of the games, you'll enjoy it. I think it was very respectful to the source material, and heck, it was even respectful to the older shows. Now, the story, the characters, there were things I did disagree with, but I didn't. What's weird is that I didn't let it bother me. So it's not. I mean, yeah. So some people it's going to definitely bother, especially the Mario and Peach thing, or Princess Toadstool thing. You know, like you're kind of like, well, I'll get into that eventually. So I just kind of want to conclude the stream now. So, all right. So, but yeah, Salty Joseph Dredd, reach out to me on Discord or Twitter, wherever you want, and send me your addresses, and I will mail Motion Picture to you, Salty, right here. Beautiful discs, like I said, right here,
so
and
good.
Wrath of Khan for Joseph Dredd, Mr. Dredd, right here. And you see, it's also, oh shit, I might have to open it up and put the disc back on. So, so I'll take care of that. So, all right, everybody. So, Alex, anything going on with the White Cloaks?
Yeah, continue to do book club, and I think Pip's got a couple other things planned, but I'll leave that up to him to volunteer. Just continuing to move along with Two Towers. We're doing I think it's next week is the Battle of Helm's Deep section of the book club. So it'll be a
Nice.
blast.
Awesome.
I am in Moria. I am in the Mines of Moria on my read. Like, I've been very slow. Like, and I was just surprised how different, like, them going up to the peak was different than what we saw in the movie. We saw it very briefly in the movie. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm in the Mines of Moria. I can't wait to get through it. It's reading it again just feels like a fresh new thing. So
100%.
And I really need to start reading Dragon Reborn so I can resume those streams too. So yeah, Dragon Reborn, Wheel of Time, gotta resume that. How far are you in Wheel of Time, Gray?
How far am I through now? I've not been reading it for a while, so geez, I can't remember. I'm about 60% through, I think.
On Dragon, you're on the third book, right?
Yeah, on the third book. It's been so good as well. I need to get back to it, but life has
Yeah,
been
the third book hasn't grabbed me nearly as much as the second book.
The second one was great, wasn't it?
The second one was awesome.
Isn't the third one? Doesn't Dragon Reborn start with
There's a great prologue, but then
Okay.
then the chapters after that, the parent stuff is just very slow.
Yeah, there's a bit slow in it, but I love the mat scenes, Alex, in Dragon Reborn are great.
I haven't gotten that far yet. I
Really
can't
good.
wait.
Enjoyed
I
those.
can't wait to get to Matt.
Yeah, Matt comes back. Matt has maybe his most iconic scene in the middle of that book, and it's, oh, okay, this is who this character was meant to be. This is why everybody loves him. Let's fucking go. Because that chapter where he does that particular thing is outstanding, and watching the show ruin it is going to make me punch a child.
So I gotta read. So I have to read and find out what you're talking about, right? Of course.
Yes.
And all right. Well, thanks, Alex. Gray, what's going on with you?
It's all good. As you said, Noporio, later on from 11 p.m. Central, we're going to be covering Midnight Cowboy. So looking forward to talking about that. If you can make it, if you guys are out there, and ladies too, if you make it, please pop in and say hello, drop in the chat.
What time will it be again?
11 p.m. Central. Is that okay with you? So it's
fine.
midnight Eastern, isn't it?
I got 2 hours to take a nice walk and nice brisk walk, and then come back and talk. It was once again, that movie had such very interesting editing. Like the editing was. We'll get to it. We'll get to it when we get to it. So all right, but I think that's it, everybody. Thanks, chat, for being here. Thank you, Gray and Alex, for coming by to talk with me. Yeah, I literally said, I told Steve yesterday he could sit this one out if he wanted to, and it looks like he actually took me up on it. I was like, oh, okay, so there you go. So yeah, so I'll start setting up the discs tomorrow. So so message me, Joseph Dredd and Salty, send me your addresses. I'll send them to you as soon as I can. Well, I'll try to do it tomorrow. So all right, everybody, thank you for being here. Have a great rest of the night, and tune into Gray's stream. A wild Nerdporial may show up. So
yeah, hopefully. Thanks, chat. You've been awesome, chat. You really made me laugh today. Cheers.
All right, so everybody, stay Nerdporial and have a good night.